This is my next mod that I'm talking about, and we've been working on this one off and on for a couple of years. I finally got the brackets in to do it properly, and this is what I'm talking about. So this is the way the table came in. Obviously it didn't have this beautiful top coat that I had sanded down and put a gloss on, but this is the way the table showed up. We had two chairs over there, and we had two chairs on this side here. What we've recently done is I've spun the table sideways because it is not attached right now, as you can see. I pulled the screws out of the floor because it's held in by 4 screws into the flooring of the slide. And for the last, I guess, 6 months or so, we've had it actually sitting sideways against the window to give us a little bit of more walk room here. And then Miriam's purchased this little bench here for putting her books and laptop on and odds and ends. So yeah, we're in the middle of a construction zone here, but this is what I'm going to be doing. I will show you these hefty units. These big boys here. These are 24 by 24 brackets. They weigh about, I'd say about 3 or 4 pounds a piece. And this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm taking the table, just this top part, taking that away from the rest of the base. Then with these brackets, I'm attaching the brackets to the wall below the window, and the tabletop will basically be fold down and fold up. Those brackets are strong enough. I think the only big issue is mounting it to the wall, mounting the brackets to the wall properly so they don't have any wiggle. I do have a few different avenues that I can go. I'm going to try the easiest one to start with, as those outside walls, yes, it's panel board, but you can secure something fairly solid to it. I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to use to attach the brackets to the wall, as it is panel board. It's these little guys right here, little drywall screws, or drywall mounts, or however you want to call them. And I'm going to be using 3 for each bracket. And those will give a fairly solid grip into the wall. I'm sure of that, because I've actually used them for hanging some other things that we've got in the trailer that we don't need to take down when we move. So these little guys will work. If that doesn't hold strong enough, then I'm just going to be putting a couple of maybe some 1/2-inch plywood strips down there, attach that to the wall, and then attach the brackets to the strips. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Just thought I'd give you a heads up on what to look forward to, and hopefully this turns out really good. It doesn't seem like a lot of work. It's more of just do it. If you've got a mod that you want to do, no time like the present.
Today we are finally getting to our table transformation. So when you buy your trailer, at least a 315 RLTS, this is the way the table sits.
This is what you have. Although I've redone the top. I sanded it down and stained it, so it looks much prettier. It used to be this black. The whole table was like this.
So, and the table has a drawer to tuck things away.
There we go.
It basically became a junk drawer.
Yes.
That we didn't really need.
It does have a pedestal, which is okay, but it's just not very practical because you can't really put a chair under it without hitting that or stubbing your toe. It's an extra, I'm guessing, probably 25 or 30 pounds of weight that we don't need to carry. Every bit counts when you're in a travel trailer or a fifth wheel or whatever you have. So this is going to be transformed into something soon.
As you can see, we do not have the original chairs there. So the chairs that it came with, we had two, like the one Brent was just sitting on. Bailey took care of the corner of one of them. She thought that was rather tasty fabric. And foam to get it there, so I have to reupholster that. Otherwise, the chair is fine.
Yeah,
and
so
we
pretty much from day one, we put our bench in here, which is a storage bench, and that got rid of our folding chairs. So we had two solid ones, two folding ones. The folding ones have been put away from, pretty much day one.
And then we decided we were going to turn the table and it's going to fold away. So I'm like, where am I going to put all my books and other things that notebooks, planner, and whatnot. So then I got this bench and it's got some baskets. This one basically has writing materials. The other one has books I intend to read and some notebooks for journaling and for creating episodes and that sort of thing. And some trip planning and whatever else. So that's what I decided to do with that, so things wouldn't be hanging out on the table all the time, because we're going to do something a little different with the table. Can you explain that, Brent?
Well, I've already mounted some wall hanging L brackets. They're actually quite large brackets. They're 24 inch by 24 inch, and they're already on the wall.
Shall we show them?
Yes, here we go. This is what I have in mind. So this is basically what I've done. Mounted these brackets here.
Those look way heavier duty than the
These are
ones
solid. Yes.
that we did on the extension on the island.
Yeah, these are 24 inch. The ones on the end of the island that I put the island extension on, those are 16. And I didn't think they could go any larger. But basically what we're going to be doing is getting rid of the pedestal. And I'm going to take the tabletop alone and mount it right here. And when we travel, it will be folded down and the bench will sit in front of it.
So we'll put all that in time lapse. How did you anchor those onto the wall, Brent?
These are with just drywall anchors, actually. They're not as solid as I would like. I'm going to try it this way, and if it works, great. If it's not as solid as I had hoped, I'm going to take the brackets back off the wall, and I'll just put a sheet of plywood directly on this outside wall, and I'll make sure that that's good and strongly mounted, and I'll reattach the brackets to that chunk of plywood.
Yeah, because the brackets on the extension are mounted right into this wood, so that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's mounted into solid wood, whereas this is actually mounted into the
exterior wall.
The exterior wall of the trailer. It's thick enough, it's strong enough, but
we'll see once
not as strong as I would like.
So once upon a time, this was screwed down to the main part of the floor, right?
Correct. There was 4 2.5-inch screws that attached the pedestal directly to the floor. So it was fairly solidly mounted.
And the reason we're doing this is because we don't often use the table. We quite often just eat and from our chairs.
Okay, well I can...
There's one more on this side.
One screw. I didn't see that little guy. So, pedestal out of the way.
What do you say he weighs?
I'd say a good 18-20 pounds anyway.
How much? Those brackets are fairly heavy too, though.
These brackets here are probably about 3 pounds a piece. Well, as it looks, didn't work. So I've got these drywall anchors that, if you can zoom in on that, honey, this one was actually spread properly. This one and this one, and one over on this side here as well, went into the wall but didn't fan out, which it needs to fan out on the back side of the wall to give it the grip. So now that the holes are there, I will basically be cutting a roughly 18-inch by 18-inch sheet of probably 3/4 inch plywood, attach that to the wall, and then I can just attach this with screws directly into the plywood, so I won't have to worry about drywall anchors or any kind of wall anchor. So my next move is cut that piece of plywood and mount that.
To be continued.
Yes.
Okay, attaching the table. Take 2.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure if those wall anchors were going to hold. Obviously they didn't.
No.
So this is my backup plan. I've got a chunk of plywood here, some 5/8 plywood. I'm going to attach it to the wall with a bunch of 1 1/4 inch screws, and once that's up, I will mount the brackets to the sides of this, and that should be nice and solid.
All right.
So I've got 11 screws to go into the wall, so this will take a little bit.
We're going to bring this home. Last little bit. We've got the
Finally.
brackets attached to the wall again. And we're just going to mount the table to it.
So I'll explain what I basically did here. So, as I was saying, I took this piece of plywood that I had. I made sure it was nice and square. And I put a single screw in the top of it at the proper depth from where I want the top of the table. So with that single screw in there, I could make sure this was level, put a level on that, and that's when I put in all the other screws to basically mount it to the wall. Since wall anchors wouldn't help, each of these screws goes roughly 3/8 of an inch into the wall. So hopefully they're holding fairly solid, and they're actually fairly solidly mounted. Now with these,
no wiggle, no wobble.
no, and these are the brackets, and I'm putting a little bit of weight on it. I don't want to put too much weight, of course. It's just for the tabletop, and I'm gonna mount that now, and 4 screws each side, and we're good to go.
All right, let's get her done.
Yep. Mount it to the wall. Better pull it off the wall a little bit, because the hinge has to come up to release and go down. I'll just bring it off the wall about a ½ inch. That's good enough. So now all I have to do is attach it from the bottom and we're done.
All right, well, if you need my help to hold it down.
No, we're good, honey. Make sure all the gapping is good.
Just laughing at Bailey here. What you doing, Bailey? Is Dad making lots of noise? Huh? Yeah, Wrigley's unfazed by it all.
All done.
All right. So now we have no pedestal underneath there.
There we go.
Ta-da! It is done.
We are finished.
Okay.
One of the fine-tuned points that I forgot to mention, because I didn't know about it, the two brackets, when you mount them to the wall, have to be perfectly parallel with each other, top to bottom. They were leveled as individual units, but they weren't completely parallel with each other. So that being said, when I folded the table down, it still stuck out about 6 inches from the wall and didn't actually go flat against the wall. So that is all fixed now. This is the finished product. That arm up and that arm up. There we go.
Done.
We're good. Now I can put the bench back and I can put the chair back and Miriam's workbooks back and move on to the next thing.
How about if I clean up on those corners because
Knock yourself out, hon. Just got a brand new battery for the Dyson.
apparently I don't pull things out from the wall very often, and I found a fur ball back there or two. That's what you get with RVing with dogs. So that's all we're going to share with you this week.
Give us a thumbs up if you like what you see.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Ring that bell for notifications.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye. Took me a couple minutes to get the camera out of time lapse and then into photo. It's like, oh no, I just want to record video. Yes, recording is not my forte. I'm more of a get my hands dirty kind of guy. Miriam, yes, you're the camera magician.
Hold on. I gotta get the converter.
I have to pause the TV, mute it.
Okay. As you were saying. Alright, can you stand up, please? No, not quite.
Not quite, no.
Get out here.
That's much better.
There we go.